Well, we start off this week's Grow weather forecast looking at the drought monitor, and as you can see, much of Nebraska and northern Kansas not included in any drought category. Now, that yellow shaded area is the abnormally dry area. 4.37% of the state of Nebraska included in that abnormally dry category. That compares to 95.63% not included in any drought category. Now, last week we had 2.23% abnormally dry category, so it has gone up by a few percent. But as we look towards Kansas, the abnormally dry category has been expanded a little bit as well. Now, last week it was at 9.64%, now up to 21.24%. So it's increased quite a bit. But as we look towards the moderate drought category, which is that that lighter brown area, that hasn't changed compared to last week. It's about the same. But once again, the abnormally dry area did increase at least a little bit in Nebraska and did increase by quite a bit in the Kansas area compared to what we were seeing last week. But let's take a look at grow temperatures 1 month outlook. Now, this blue area is where we are looking at below average chances for below average temperatures. So you can see most of Nebraska and Kansas included in that, a big portion of the Midwest stretching down to Texas. Parts of Florida, though, included in this orange category is the chance for above average temperatures, and you can see parts of the West Coast also included in that as well. Anything not shaded, looking at equal chances as we head 1 month out. But looking a little farther out to 3 months, once again, most of Nebraska and Kansas included in the chance for below average temperatures 3 months out, once again stretching down towards Texas as well. But along the East Coast down towards Florida, they are looking at above average, or the chance for above average temperatures, as well as once again on the West Coast as we head 3 months out. Now, looking at precipitation, this green area indicates the chance for above average precipitation. Once again, Nebraska and Kansas included in that, good part of the U.S. included in that as well, but parts of Florida, parts of the South included in the chance for below average. And we are also looking far northwestern U.S. looking at below average as well. And as we look 3 months out, we are looking at above average chances once again in parts of Nebraska and Kansas. So good indications 3 months out. And then as we look at this brownish shaded area, once again, that's chances for below average precipitation, and anything not shaded, looking around equal chances as we head 3 months out. But looking at our Grow Almanac, normal high this time of year right around 88 degrees for the central part of the state, normal low around 65. Our forecasted average throughout the next week right around 87, so close to that normal, and then 65 right at that normal. But here's a look at this week's proverb: happy are the fields that receive summer rain. Let's look at this week's Grow weather forecast. You sent us some pictures, and now here they are.
To see your pictures from the county fair, email us grow@nebraska.tv, and of course you can always grab your smartphone and send them to us on Facebook and Twitter. Time now to check in with our market analyst. Marylyn Barnett has more.
You know what, it's been a very volatile week. As I came in, corn was up about a penny at 4.41. Soybeans were down 8, however, at 10.07, and that's kind of been the way the week has been. Corn's been stronger. Soybeans have backed off a little bit. We put in a new high this week at 4.54. On Tuesday. Wednesday, we put in a low for the week at 4.32.
So there you go.
And then we bounced back higher today.
And it all seems to be depending on the weather.
It does, you know, and it's not necessarily the weather here, but it's the weather across in the eastern corn belt, and in particular Illinois and Indiana. And the best way for us to kind of gauge that is kind of look at their soil surpluses. 54% of the soil in Illinois is rated surplus. 60% in Illinois, or in Indiana, excuse me, is rated surplus. So they're just too wet right now.
So it all depends on those other parts of the country sometimes
does.
here. So the crops, how are they looking?
You know what, and as we look nationally, 69% of the corn crop is rated good to excellent, and that rating comes out by USDA every Monday. 62% of the soybeans are rated good to excellent. So nationally not bad, but as we dig into two important states again, Illinois and Indiana, that's where things change. Illinois in particular, only 56% of the crop is rated good to excellent, but there's 16% of it that's poor to very poor. And that's a big producer. That's the number 2 producer in the nation. But Illinois, because it's been wetter, conditions are actually worse on corn. We're setting at 46% good to excellent, but 25% of that crop is actually rated poor to very poor, and it's actually worse on the soybean side.
So with all of that, do your changes for as far as your outlook into the future, has that changed at all?
You know, it has been. Since we've been talking about these weather problems, as long as we continue to see wet conditions out there and they continue to stay wet and the forecast would call for them to get wetter, we continue to see the highs move higher on this move. What that does for us is our spots of how high the market could go up, but also our lows on how far the crop, or the size of the crop, and then therefore how low the prices could go have been coming up also. So we're getting at this point where we're probably thinking somewhere around about $4 is probably the low now on corn.
Stick around as we meet some outstanding youth at the State 4-H Horse Expo.